Okay, welcome to day 3 of our Create and Chill webinar series. I am Kayla, and today we're going to talk about my need to get stuff done. And the focus of today is a little bit educational and then a little bit experiential. So I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite resources in terms of why women feel they need to do all the things. And in particular, in mothering, how we show up to this role and kind of become the default by accident. And I'm going to start today with a quote from one of my favorite books, actually. It's called The Dance of Anger, and it's written by Harriet Lerner. And she, the book itself is really amazing in the sense that she gives these scenarios of women and mothers being angry in the context of their relationships, and how unfortunately and jarringly the women in the books have played into these roles. They're angry because they're participating in the dynamics of the relationship. And so this quote just stands out to me so much, in the sense that women have a long legacy of assuming responsibility for other people's feelings and for caring for others at the expense of self. Some of us may care for others by picking up their dirty socks or doing all of their feelings work. Some by being less strong, self-directed, and competent than we can be to avoid threatening those important to us. Changing our legacy is possible, but it's not easy. Think small to begin with, but think. And she goes on through the book to explain some really touchy relationship situations. One of the scenarios is a daughter caring for an elderly father. And she's very resentful of this dynamic because he's calling her all the time and getting her to go to the grocery store 5 and 6 times a week. And it's just starting to get to her when she's got 2 little kids, and I think she's a divorcee actually in that story. And so she's just mad. She wants to caregive for her dad, but she's just coming up with all of this anger. And then there's another scenario of a new mom who has a little baby, and the grandma has a lot of things to say about how to care for the baby and all of the ways that she's doing it wrong in comparison to the generational ways that which you raise children. And the daughter, now the mom, is really feeling the shift between, I'm not the daughter anymore, I'm the mother. And how do I navigate the relationship with my own mother now that I'm the mother? And there's a few other scenarios, one including a mother with 2 or 3 small children, and they're in a heterosexual relationship, and the dad works a lot. She's a stay-at-home mom, and they love each other, but the dad is always complaining that the mother is anxious and overbearing and just like really intense, and the mother is always saying that the dad is disconnected, not present, not carrying his load of the emotional labor. And so they get in these fights, and their fights are never constructive because they fight about what they're saying, not what they need. And so they get into the semantics of it. You know, have you ever been in one of those arguments where like you said something kind of wrong, and then your partner, notices that you said something kind of wrong, and that's not really how you meant it. And then you start fighting about that instead of like the thing that you brought to the table. And so the crux in my feminist expressive arts theory of why we need to get shit done is for a few reasons. These reasons might resonate with you, but they might not. Perfectionist tendencies. So my need to get shit done is because I'm the only one who's going to do it right. And I can't let you do it wrong. Or I am the only one who the children need, want, or long for. And so by becoming the default parent, my need to get shit done is just always so big and so heavy because the children, I take full responsibility for them and I lose myself in this role and I must be there for them all the time. I must be the one to go to the grocery store to get the right bubble bath. I must be the one to wash the right sippy cup so that it's ready for the morning. I must be the one to buy the right craft dinner or whatever, whatever the thing is, because you house all of that information. You house all of their favorites, all of their nuances, their favorite shirt, their favorite blanket, and you're the only one who knows that information. And then when you're not there, the other partner doesn't know how to do it because they've never been given the opportunity. And we don't really do any of this on purpose, right? It's something that we grow and we morph into as being the person who's home with them in those early days of motherhood. And so our need to get stuff done is rooted possibly in perfectionist tendencies. The second of unintentionally becoming the default parent. And third, because it's bigger than we are. This role that women are put into is generational, it's complex. It's how we viewed women when we were little. It's the roles we assumed when we played house or the roles we played in our friend groups. And so it's bigger than we are. But if we are the ones feeling like it's not fair, or we're feeling angry or resentment or loneliness or unseen and unheard in our relationships, even though it's bigger than us, we play a central role in making that change. And so in this, I need to get stuff done. And I'm the only one maybe who can get it done or who can get it done right. We unintentionally play into these roles. And if we are wanting to caregive differently than how we've seen caregiving in the past, we're likely going to get some pushback. So I'm going to share a story with you. Just the other day, for context, my husband's a shift worker. So he works like 5 days on, 4 or 5 days off. And on his off days, we have gotten to the place where our division of labor is much more equal. And my mom texted me partway through the day and was like, "Oh, how was drop off this morning?" Don't know. I wasn't the one to do it. And it was like, it was this weird assumption from her that I would have done all of the labor that morning with the kids. And it was an interesting dynamic because I just said, "I don't know." Right. And she was like, "Well, why don't you know?" And I was like, "Well, my husband dropped them off. Like, I'm at work already. I don't need to be participating in every single detail of the morning ritual when he's on days off, because I do 100% of the work when he's at work." And so we've gotten to this place where when he's working, I obviously assume the default parent role because there's literally nobody else to do it in the household. But when he's on days off, he's just as welcome to take the kids to their things and pick them up and drop them off and make their lunch and do the laundry and wash the dishes. Like, he's perfectly capable of handling those things without me. And so we've gotten to this rhythm, but I have a 7-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. So we're 7 years into parenting. And so we've had some hard conversations around division of labor and how this rhythm of our lives work. And I call it one of the non-negotiables in our lives. He's a shift worker. Right now, that's a non-negotiable. And so we have to figure out how to even the playing field in our division of labor so that I don't feel resentful and angry over the things that I'm assuming responsibility for. And it's unintentional. I get in this zone of like, okay, you're gone. I've got 5 days with these kids. I'm the one doing everything. I'm getting up in the night. I'm wiping butts. I'm wiping noses. I'm the only one doing the things for like 4 days straight. And then when he inserts himself into the rhythm, I can feel like, well, you don't know what you're doing. That's not how we do it. That's not the rhythm we've gotten into. You're ruining it all. Why can't you just do it my way? And for a while, that worked with my air quotes. And then it didn't anymore. And we had to figure out a different way. So I'm going to share with you. I know some of you might be walking or tending to your children or whatever. And so I want you to come back to these journal questions if you happen to be having to entertain children or you're multitasking right now. But I'm going to share my screen with you with some journal questions, some reflection around what this being busy comes from. And so I'm going to share them with you now, and I'm going to read them for those of you who might be multitasking. And if you want to take like a screen grab or something, of course, you're going to get the replay as well. But just in your mind, as I'm saying these things out loud, I just want you to reflect on what your first thought is when I say these things. When it comes to being busy, I think I should. When it comes to being busy, I think I shouldn't. When it comes to being busy, I would like to. When it comes to being busy, I don't want to. When it comes to being busy, I feel. And if I were honest with others about how I'm feeling about my busyness, whether that's an internal busyness or an external busyness, they would think that. And if I were honest with myself about how I'm really feeling about my level of busyness, I would know that. And so when I do this exercise with my clients, some similar themes kind of come into the room. And the themes are, if I were really honest with myself about the roles that I take, the responsibility that I hold, the tasks that I take responsibility for, the caregiving that I do, I would know that I don't have to do it alone. I would know that my partner is perfectly capable of handling some of these things. He might not do it the way that I do it. He might do it completely differently than I do it, but it would still get done. I would come home and my kids would be alive, or they'd be sleeping, or they would be fed, maybe with cereal instead of whatever you had planned that night, but it would still be done. When it comes to being busy, I feel overwhelmed, drowning, angry, lonely, detached. These are some of the words that come into my client sessions where when we trust that first thought, when it comes to being busy, I think I should be the one to take care of it all because I'm the one who had the children. I'm the one who wanted them. I'm the one who wanted this life. So I should be the one. That statement, whew, that is heavy. And we don't have to continue this level of doing things, this level of taking responsibility for things that are not ours or that can at the very least be shared. And so the idea of the stuff that I have to get done, again, if you're multitasking, I want you to come back to this, but if you can, take a moment to reflect and write down some of the ways that the word should comes into your mentality or into your life. And I want you to make what I call a should list. All of the ways that you should on yourself. And I'll give you some examples of mine. And then you can, I'm gonna be quiet for a couple of minutes and you can just reflect on this. I should be the one to cook supper because I'm the one home first. I should be the one to take the kids to their things because I'm their mother. And what does it say about me if I'm not there? I should be the one to host Christmas because nobody else is going to do it. I should be the one who cleans the bathroom because I'm the one who knows how. I'm the one who should go grocery shopping because I'm the only one who knows what brands the kids will eat and will not eat, or the formula, the right formula, or the right diapers, or the right sippy cup, or the right soother. I'm the only one who can do that. And so I just want you to take a moment to reflect on some of the things that would be on your should list. Finding a stopping place. And I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. And I want you to star or color or highlight or cross out the ones that don't need to be held 100% by you. So I'm not the only one who needs to go to the grocery store. My husband is just as capable of ordering groceries or going to the grocery store. I am not the only one who can register for extracurriculars. I'm not the only one who can call the repairman or woman. I'm not the only one who can get the bottles ready or clean the bottles, sanitize, wash baby clothes, buy baby blankets, buy the next size of clothes. I'm not the only one. So be really honest with yourself. Cross out, highlight, somehow mark the ones that you don't have to totally hold on your own. Now, I want you to just choose one. I want you to choose one and create an intention for change. Just one of those things that are on your should list that can be delegated, outsourced, shared, just one. Some real life examples from my clients are, I am no longer going to take out the garbage. It's not my responsibility anymore. And that client had to leave the garbage for 3 weeks, you guys. 3 weeks she had to leave the garbage before her husband remembered to take it out. We had 2 sessions about how she needed to leave the garbage. She had to force herself to leave the garbage because he was never going to do it if she just kept doing it for him. Another one has been, I'm no longer responsible for supper on Tuesday and Thursday nights. I don't care what you cook. I don't care what you buy. I don't care what you bring into this house. I am not cooking on Tuesday and Thursday nights. Another one is, I'm going to write the list and I'm going to give it to you, and you are going to order the groceries online and be responsible for delivery and or pickup. It is now your responsibility to schedule the dog grooms and the vet visits. I am no longer responsible for that. Okay. So just pick one. Pick one. And I suggest starting really easing into this. Because if you do these things in practice, I can guarantee you there's going to be some pushback. Not because your partners don't value what you're trying to say, but simply because it's not part of their rhythm and their routine. And so another quote from the Harriet Lerner book, which I highly recommend, by the way, it's called The Dance of Anger by Harriet Lerner, literally changed my life, is, it's a gendered book, so keep that in mind. It is about heterosexual couples, males and women. Men will never start doing it if women never stop doing it. And so sometimes we have to stop doing something, share the responsibility of it, or delegate it outright before we see that shift in ourselves and in our partners or our mother-in-law, whoever it is, the person who needs the delegation. Okay. And so your need to get stuff done, if you're hearing us live or if you're watching the recording later, I just want you to know, if you take nothing away from today, is that you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to carry all of it and everyone. If you're struggling in your relationship with the division of labor and who does what and how and for how long and at what frequency, I just want you to know that it can be different. It takes some intention and some effort, and probably some muddling through and some swear words, but it can be better. And there is a time when your babies are really little that division of labor might not ever feel equal, because there is a lot that your babies need from mom, but like this is a biological response from you and from them. But there will come a day when your partner can start doing more things, different things. And if if you are in heterosexual relationships, if he or they are not going to do it, then there are plenty of other people who can. One of the stories from the Harriet Lerner book, the woman who had the 3 kids with the partner who they could never get a constructive fight going, is that she ended up hiring a babysitter. Even on the nights that she knew he was going to be home. Every Thursday night, she wanted to go to yoga. She wanted to do the thing, and she was tired of feeling resentful for it. She was tired of him not showing up and not supporting her in this. So she just hired a babysitter. It was just like, you know what? I need this. I need this to be a better mom. I need this to show up in my life. And so whether you're here or not, I'm getting the babysitter. She started to bypass him for a time for this support and started to outsource these things that she needed. And he came back eventually because they were both in couples therapy at this time. And so he came back and they worked it out, according to the book. But it took some time, and it took some uncomfortability and a little bit of her being like, well, screw you. Like, if you're not going to support this, then I'm going to go and do it anyway, because I need it. And I'm a better person when I go to yoga on Thursday nights and take the long way home and get a tea and listen to my music, whatever she was doing, right? Whatever lights her up. And so I'm going to say it again. If you take nothing else away from today's talk and webinar, is that you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to carry it all. You don't have to hold it all. You are not responsible for everyone in the ways that you think you are. So you can love your kids and take care of yourself. You can love your partner and also want them to not be in the room with you. You can love your mother-in-law and also want her to leave. Both can be true. Both can be true. So if you enjoyed the talk today, I invite you to check out my new membership. Well, it's not new, it's new again. I launched it about a year and a half ago, and then I took a break from it. So it's called the Mother Load, and it's jam-packed full of me doing exactly this and what I've been doing all week: expressive arts, my views on things, giving resources, talking about all the ways that you can show up in your life in the ways that you want to and you need to. And today it launches because today is World Maternal Mental Health Day, and founding members will get 50% off the annual price. So I'm going to be sending out an email to everybody. If you're on my newsletter list, you're going to get a reminder about the membership and the discount and all of those things. So that's all in there. And I want to close with a poem by Mary Oliver, who is one of my favorite poets. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert, repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees and the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, The wild geese high in the clean blue air are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Mary Oliver. And the title of that one is Wild Geese. And so I wish you well for the rest of your day, and I will see you back here again for day 4 at 2:30. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. It was
You're-
so good.
You're welcome.